Hello, I'm Regina McCann-Hess, President of Forge Wealth Management, and welcome to our Thriving in Health and Wealth series. Today, I'm welcoming back my friend Patty Burke, and Patty is going to talk about another topic near and dear to all of our hearts.
Mhm.
Patty, what are you going to talk about today?
Weight loss, woo! And maintaining healthy weight,
Good.
feeling good in our bodies, feeling like you're at a healthy weight. Super important, especially as we age. It's harder to maintain and harder to lose. So there's lots of different reasons why we're going to be talking about this topic. But I am your local health coach, and I help people in these areas of implementing long-term healthy habit changes. And so I specialize on health and wellness, body confidence, mental well-being, and stress reduction, along with weight control and disease management.
And
So
it's
today,
amazing how they all interloop each other in one
all
way.
connected for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, our whole wellness. When we talk wellness, it has to do with a lot of things in our life. Uh, our career, our relationships. If those things aren't going well, then it can directly affect our mood, our mental health, and our physical health and energy. And when that goes south, then we're open, it lowers our immune system, we're open to disease, and it can be a tumbling effect. So everything is all related. And so we want to pull it all together. Today, we want to talk about healthy weight and what's around that, how to be able to succeed in your own goals. And especially with the new year and with January here, we have the holidays behind us. I don't know about you, but I tend to fall off some of my goals.
There's
And
just too many good
healthy
eating
habits.
options, too many good eating
Too many.
options. Pizzelles and
Oh yeah,
other sugar cookies and all sorts of yummy desserts. You can't help yourself.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah, and especially with children around, you're baking cookies and entertaining. And I know it was a little bit lower this year with people not having crowds in the house, but there's certainly, I know for me, I'm holding on to some COVID weight.
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but
Yes.
I just feel in general, I think people are challenged where their fitness routines have fallen off. They're not going to the gym as often. Now with the winter months, we're not getting out. I was reading articles, recent information over the summer and fall. The number one exercise protocol is walking. That people, ever since March, the number one for all ages is walking, which is, I'm a big proponent of that. I'm just getting out, raising your heart rate a little bit, 30 minutes or an hour each day is a great way to maintain weight, a healthy weight. So it's harder in the winter months. We're working from home,
Yeah.
right? So a lot more sitting. What are you finding at home with your job?
Same thing. I'm sitting for long, long hours to the point where
Mhm.
like my lower back's starting to hurt me at the end of the day. That's my sign that I'm done working.
Yeah,
Because sometimes I'll work. That's the other downside of working from home. You work longer because you
exactly.
can, right? And then I noticed that now that I'm sitting a little bit more, my lower back is starting to hurt me. And I agree with you about the walking because since April, May, I was out walking or biking every single day. But
Mhm.
my little body does not like to be cold. So
Yeah,
now that it's cold, I will not be out there walking. It is too cold. So I have to find, thankfully now
other.
I just got an exercise bike. So I'm going to have to do that over the winter. Otherwise, I would go crazy,
Mhm. Yeah,
because it gives you the health and the blood circulation, but it also clears your head and resets you.
yeah, yeah. We're going to touch on that, on the factors. So today we're going to focus on what are the overall factors that contribute to weight gain,
Mm.
and then how can we harness them in our own lives. And so the one big thing we want to keep in mind is that everybody's body is different regarding how we're going to process calories,
Mhm.
what kind of food is going to agree with our body, which kind of food is going to add extra weight. Some people have faster metabolism
Mm.
and they can digest different foods. Dairy and wheat are two that are very hard to digest. I have a big sensitivity lately, so I stay away from that. I feel trimmer. I feel better. I'm digesting my food. I'm absorbing my nutrients better.
Good for you.
Um, well, it took me a while to realize, what matters for me is different than what works for other people. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So
Okay.
I want to personalize this conversation for people, for everyone out there. So it's hard, even as we were talking about challenges. One other one is as we age, you know, believe it or not, from 25 years and older, we start the aging process in our skin. So even by age 30, our bodies are not what they were like when we were 20.
Wow.
And then so on and so forth. And then, of course, once we get into menopause in our 40s and 50s, that's a whole nother deal, a whole
Mm.
nother discussion
Oh, yeah.
that we'll have
Yeah.
about aging and hormones and so forth.
Yeah, we definitely need to do that segment for sure.
For sure. And it's harder, as we age, it's harder to burn the calories. Okay, so
Oh,
that's the other thing that we have to think about for losing weight. Yes, it means calories in versus calories out, right? And we don't want the calories in to be larger than the calories out. That's a general rule of thumb, but there's some intricacies
right.
involved with that. It's not just a straight equation.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Although it is so much easier to gain the weight than lose the weight.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so much more fun because all the stuff that you're
Right.
eating is yummy.
We can still make it fun, believe
Okay,
me.
let's
So,
do
so
that.
I'm here. So I don't want to be a buzzkill.
No,
We
no, no, no.
want to talk about the good news. And the
Yes.
good news is that our daily behaviors and our mindset, it can be changed and it can be upgraded in order to align with our own health goals, right?
Cool.
So we get to decide, better choices for ourselves. We get to decide based on self-awareness, based on, you know, how does my body feel after 2 hours after I have a bowl of pasta?
Mm,
How does a lot of people won't recognize how they feel. Once you start to pick up on that, do I have digestive belly aches? Do I have gas? Do I want a nap? These are important things to pay attention to. And then we get a choice to switch it up and not go for those choices as much as we used to.
yeah. Yeah.
So it is truly possible, to upgrade our healthy habits, especially amidst this pandemic and through our busy schedules. So that's another big excuse, a big challenge I hear about. I'm too busy every day. I can't run out to the supermarket or prep healthy food all the time or make my lunch every day. And so again, we have to, that's all part of choices and priorities. That's a whole another topic.
Right. And if you're working from home, you don't have that commute. So maybe,
Mhm.
maybe like an appointment or a meeting, you put it on your calendar and you check it off like an appointment and you go have your appointment for yourself with your exercise.
Exactly. Yeah, you do. You just have to schedule things in. So, so let me go through this a little bit. So let's talk about the factors that contribute to weight gain.
Mm,
Okay. So I have about five
okay.
general factors we can keep in mind. Number one is food. And what about food? Well, it's about the quantity, it's about the quality of food, right? Is it a bag of Doritos versus an apple and peanut butter?
Right.
It matters. It
Yes,
matters
it does.
calorie wise, it matters how our muscles, it matters with our energy and our blood sugar and so on and so forth. So it matters. And thirdly, around food, how we eat. Okay. Are we rushing and gobbling up our food? That way we're not digesting and absorbing the nutrients properly. Or are we taking our time, chewing, um, chewing slowly, getting enough chews in, because we have saliva with our digestive enzymes are in there. So how are we eating? How are we being when we eat? So that's something that a lot of people don't think about. So those are the general things around food.
Okay.
Movement. Movement we touched on. Movement is all a factor, again, to help us to burn calories. It helps us to generate those serotonin, adrenaline, and those happy hormones that we always talk about, which is serotonin. When we move, when we put our face in the sunshine, that produces, serotonin. When we are doing a fun hobby, and of course, when we're exercising. So movement is so important to incorporate. And I will sum up, once I go through these 5 things, I'll sum up some tips, helpful
Okay.
tips for our audience.
Awesome.
Okay. Number 3 is hormone balance. Okay. Hormone balance. A great example is when women go into menopause. What happens when we're in menopause? Women lose our amount of estrogen that we are naturally producing in our 20s, 30s, and 40s. Estrogen levels start to dive. Well, there are going to be some effects from that. One of the effects is weight gain in our middle section. That's where it tends to land for a menopausal woman. Now, the good news is menopause lasts about 2 years. So we're actually peaking in the midst of menopause within like a 2-year process. And then after that, we level off. The thing is, we're not really producing much estrogen, even in the later years. There's some ways to combat that. So we'll touch on that in a minute.
Okay.
And number 4 that can add to weight gain is emotional stress. So let me quickly review what's happening during anxiety periods or mini panic attacks that we're having. And I'm sure this is not, not foreign to a lot of people, especially during this pandemic. So what's happening biologically is our adrenaline is pumping. Our body thinks that we're running from the saber-toothed lion. Okay, so there are 2 parts to our nervous system, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. So the sympathetic is our nervous system. It's our survival mode. And when we're under stress, our body doesn't know the difference, whether it's we're late for an appointment, or we're really angry at something, or if that tiger is coming after us. Our body is going to be pumping extra insulin and adrenaline to get our energy to run from that situation. So it's a protective mechanism. It's there for good reason. The problem is when we're in an anxiety mode or in a stress mode, our insulin levels stay high. And when insulin is there to process our glucose, right? And the glucose, the insulin breaks it down and allows us to have energy. The problem is when there's too much hanging around in our body and we don't burn it off by running a marathon, guess what? It turns to fat. So our body doesn't know what to do with all that extra insulin and stress hormone. Stress hormone is called cortisol. And when we're running in a chronic state, we're not able to burn our calories. So we want to look at our stress levels. Number 5, let's turn to number 5. Reasons why we can gain weight: a health condition. So if you're dealing with a chronic health condition, that should be taken care of. You need to assess, how can I deal with it in a healthy way and not gain weight? Okay. Because some health conditions, some people have arthritis. They can't exercise and do the movement portion. So then what? Now we have to watch our diet more carefully.
True.
So it's those kinds of things. It's a trade-off. And that's, that's where we want to talk to our doctor, about helpful ways. It's just not going to work. It's going to show up in saggy skin, weight gain, the whole thing. So let's think about food, and I want to describe the confusion that people can have.
Okay.
People will turn to a certain, I call it a food plan, rather than a diet.
Right.
So it's a food lifestyle or an eating lifestyle. Um, I can let you in on a secret. There are three things in common that all diets or all food lifestyles have in common. Okay, so say there's 100 diets out there: paleo, vegan, I don't even know a
Yeah,
lot of the
there's a lot.
there's a lot of them,
And a
right?
new one every day.
Right? The juice diets.
Yeah. Well,
The pow-
it's a billion-dollar industry.
it is. It's crazy, right? Well, the three things that all of them have in common, and again, we need to customize our lifestyle, eating lifestyle for our diets for us, right? Because my schedule, my body is processing a little bit different than yours. Okay. So we want to be able to customize. So say, if you hear that a friend is a vegan and, oh, she's lost so much weight, that means no animal products. Oh, do I automatically have to become vegan if I want to, look like her? No, you don't.
Good, because I can't do that.
No. So that's the good news. So all 100 diets out there have three things in common. So first one is the balance of the ratio between your carbs, proteins, and fat. Okay, so it's the balance of what we call macronutrients. So what's a macronutrient? Macronutrient are those three things that I just mentioned. So these are essentials, essential nutrients that we need in our body, and they're healthy for us.
Right.
So they are a carbohydrate, which we'll talk about, a complex carb. Those are the healthy carbs.
Right.
That's your grains, your fruits and veggies. Protein is a macronutrient. It can be plant-based or animal-based. And then there's fat. Our bodies need fat. The healthy ones are the best ones. That's your omega fat, and that's in your salmon, flaxseed, almonds, avocado oil, avocados. Avocado is great.
Yeah.
There are healthy fats. We need fats to transport our hormones and to help our organs. So these macronutrients are important for organ function. So the balance, right? So some diets balance out, they go minimal on the carbs, but they're balancing the fats and the protein, right? Some diets cut out all fat, and it's a balance between carbs and protein. So it's the balance of macro.
Right. Okay.
We also, as part of the balance, we want to eat high density foods. So high density food is basically a low calorie food with a high micronutrient. So a micronutrient is basically vitamins and minerals, right? So those are included in those macronutrients I just spoke about. So we want to have high density food choices. That's the balance. That's the type of food that we're balancing in these different diets. Okay. And we want to choose high density type of foods.
And they help by also, in addition to being the right things for you, they help to keep you satiated or feel that have that fullness, so that you're not tempted to go snack on stuff that you really don't need.
Yeah. Again, if you eat a bag of Doritos, you're starving, an hour later.
Yeah.
So it's lacking the fiber. So fiber is another one. It can be a fourth kind of, it's not really a macronutrient, but we want to balance, fiber.
Okay.
in our food. There's a lot of that in fruits and veggies and beans and things like that. Okay, so the second thing that all diets have in common is the sourcing. So what kind of macronutrient? And that's what I was alluding to before. So where is the source of the food? Um, so it's what kind of macro
Okay.
are we sourcing? A combination of, again, are we leaving out the carbs, or are we doing just small complex carbs and increase the protein, increase healthy fat? So it's the sourcing,
Hmm.
and then it's the timing. Third thing that all have in common is a timing. When are we eating? So a popular diet is the intermittent diet that you maybe have heard about.
Yes.
Okay, intermittent
Fasting,
fasting.
where they do the fasting.
Yes. So regarding fasting, let me just say briefly, it is important every day that we have a period of fasting for our body. It's very important for our body to sort of detoxify and give our organs a rest. So one way to think about it is when we sleep. That's great. We're obviously not eating, right? So you can include that in your fasting period. What I like to do is then surround that sleep. Say I'm getting 8 hours. Ideally, I like to fast 12 hours.
Okay.
Some people do intermittent fasting and they're fasting 16 hours
Wow.
and they're only eating 8 hours, like between 10 and 6.
Yeah, yeah. I have talked to a couple people who do that. It takes some adjusting, but I have seen the effects of it too. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. If people's blood sugar can handle it. Now, I tend to
Yeah.
be a little bit hypoglycemic and I can't really go 16 hours,
Yeah.
just water or coffee or whatever. So you have to see what's going to work for your body. But a general rule of thumb is to try to get 12 hours of fasting.
Hmm.
It's healthy for the body. So you
Okay.
want to center it around your sleep schedule.
Okay.
But again, people can play around with their diet and see, what the timing of their food is going to be. So those are sort of the three things that all diets have in common. These are three important things for a healthy eating lifestyle:
Right.
to balance your ratio of macronutrients, um, play with the sourcing of those macro. Now, I can't really eat wheat very well. Wheat is a complex carb, right? It's a grain.
Yeah.
It's considered healthy. Whole grain is better than processed grain. But I'm balancing. For me, I go zero on wheat. I'll do other carbs. I'll do rice
Hmm.
and other carbs. But anyway, so the sourcing is important. And then of course the timing. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It does. And I
Okay.
think back on times where I have tried a little bit of the fasting, and um it's it's hard to do, but once you do it, it gets easier. I know that sounds crazy, but I
Yeah,
think a lot of people will
right.
say that.
Well, it takes almost 2 weeks for our brain to adjust
Hmm.
to a new habit, our
Right.
brain and our body. So that's natural, but once you kind of give it some time and distract yourself and come up with ways to hang in there, whether you're trying a new type of food or a new timing, you just kind of have to hang in and let the body adjust over a couple weeks. So yeah, so healthy tips. Let's just move right in. And I've already provided hopefully some ideas. So choosing meals and snacks that are high in macro and micronutrients, right? So you can benefit from proteins, healthy fats, vitamins, and fiber. So fresh fruit, smoothies are really good to have. Sauteed veggies,
Mm.
quinoa. If you're looking for healthy grains, quinoa is a healthy grain and it has protein. It's really great as a side dish. Or I make a nice quinoa and I add a little bit, touch of maple syrup, a little bit of oil and vinegar, and then I throw some veggies, some frozen peas, frozen carrots right into the quinoa, and it makes a nice little mini meal.
Wow.
And then I have it cold in my salads, right? In a
Okay.
power salad, you can add a quinoa mix. You can also add fresh organic chickpeas, wonderful for fiber and protein.
Oh, I love chickpeas.
Chickpeas are awesome. Just buy a can of organic.
Mm-hmm.
They last about 5 days, in your
Okay.
refrigerator, and throw them in your salads.
Nice.
Low
Nice.
sugar yogurt is good to have. Of course, iced tea, seltzer, don't turn to your sugary drinks. So there's the food. You can do chicken, fish. Quick little rundown there on some healthy food choices, and have healthy snacks as well. Some
Right.
carrots and hummus, apples and peanut butter
Right.
or cashew butter, things like that.
A bowl of almonds. I have a bowl
Bowl
of
of
almonds
almonds is
on my table for
fabulous.
when when I need my snack in the afternoon. And that's to prevent me from going into the pantry and getting the kids' snacks.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. So number 2 for fitness and movement, shoot for 30 minutes a day with a raised heart rate. So a brisk walk or a bike ride or swimming, a quick yoga, set of yoga moves. If you're in your house, before you get dressed, get your mat out, do some yoga moves, deep breathing, and it's great for stretching and for, muscle strength.
Yeah, and that'll actually help with that lower back pain from sitting in the chair all day
There
too.
you go. Perfect. Yeah, you can download some apps, get some freebies on YouTube. Anything is out there really, free on YouTube,
Yeah, there's a
Pilates.
lot available.
Yep. Weight, little weightlifting types of at home exercise, or getting out in the sunshine is great.
Oh yeah.
Number 3, your stress and anxiety. Learn to manage, learn to recognize what's happening. Are you having constant shallow breathing through the day? That's a sign of chronic stress.
Hmm.
So try to pay attention. Are you only taking half breaths? Or are you relaxing? Again, when you're eating, you want to be able to take in oxygen and be breathing
Yeah.
while you're eating.
And if you find yourself taking those small breaths, just stop what you're doing, sit and think and visualize your breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth,
Well,
and time it. And that could reset you as well.
it does. It resets your nervous system. If you can take 5 or 10 deep breaths, that will help to reset your nervous system. And
Right.
then come up with other ways. Journaling at night. People find relaxing ways to as an outlet for their anxiety. So
Right.
again, that's another discussion. Um, Again, not eating and drinking too late at night. So if you want to be calorie conscious, and if you feel like, again, this is all about timing
Right.
of your calories. An advantage is to just cut out and don't have any calories after 6 or 7 o'clock at night.
Right, and that's a great way to cut some of your calories because
Yeah,
some of that eating and snacking really is either boredom or, just
exactly.
habitual. Like, oh, I always had a snack at 8:30, 9 o'clock. So let me get my snack. And then, the
Right.
snack turns out to be 300 or 400 calories by the time you're
Oh,
done.
and it's the worst at night because we're not burning them. We're going right to bed,
Right.
and it turns to fat,
Right, right, right.
right?
Yeah, so
So
yeah, so that's a big way. That's what I did. I cut
big
out
one.
that snacking, so it was getting crazy. I was like, "Okay, this has to stop," because, I'd have a snack, have
Mm.
chips and salsa, and then be like,
Yep.
"Well, I need a little sweet to go with that."
Exactly.
Come on. So, we cut that out.
Yeah. Again, so hormone imbalances.
Mm,
We talked about that. So that's important to recognize and get checked
mm,
regularly with your doctor. There's also functional medicine doctors out there that are
really?
called functional medicine doctor, or they're called integrative medicine doctor. These
Ah,
doctors specialize in root causes for illnesses, for imbalances, for skin conditions, hormone imbalances, autoimmune diseases.
hmm,
They have special uh, testing, diagnostic testing that regular doctors don't.
right,
Because some of them are cash pay. These integrative medicine docs, but it's well worth it if you really want to zero in on your hormone levels.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
there are natural hormone creams that can be compounded to help supplement if you're in that 2-year menopause stage. There are natural hormones.
Hmm.
Not too many people know about that.
Yeah, good to know.
I've used them myself. So, and lastly, for chronic health conditions, learn how to best control and manage. Recognize what's happening with your chronic conditions. Talk to your doctor about ways that you can not gain weight. You want to be able to maintain a healthy weight and be able to manage, your chronic condition.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are ways to do that. If you have to slow down on your movement, then you're going to have to, eat healthier and lower your stress. And it's all a balancing act. And like I said, everybody's health and body is different, and we're going to customize our weight loss depending on our own body type and our own lifestyle and work schedule.
Yeah. And you have to take care of you. You have to find time. And I still struggle with this. And it is, it's progress, not perfection,
Yeah,
but find time for you, find time to take care of you, especially during this pandemic. Make time for yourself to do that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And I wish everyone well out there.
Thank you. Patty, can you remind everyone how to find you if they would like to follow up with you?
Sure. My coaching website is wholebodyfocus.com. And then I co-own a corporate wellness company based out of the Philadelphia area. And that is P. Burke at wholehealthco.llc.com.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Great. Thank you. And thank you for everyone for listening and watching. We appreciate that you are joining us on these adventures to
Yeah.
thrive in your health and wealth. And I know Patty is bringing a lot of great information and very good topics to the table for this video series. So thank you, Patty. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Appreciate you too.
Thanks. And okay, so we will see you again on our next video series. And again, I'm Regina McCann Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management. You can find me at my website, forgewealth.com. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Forge Wealth, and LinkedIn, Regina McCann Hess. Thanks for joining us on our Thriving in Health and Wealth.
Beautiful.
Good day.
Bye-bye.